what are the rules, or what? I don't know if there are rules about practicing on a downhill course before a World Cup, because this is what got me thinking that if there's a BDS, British downhill there, I mean, naturally you think that everyone would go there to get a practice in, but then you also sometimes see teams on the run up riding certain tracks that are coming up as a World Cup track in that year. I don't know. It just got me thinking. With other sports, you don't like go to Anaheim 2 weeks before and do a practice. Like, it doesn't happen. It's like everyone has a fair crack at it. I don't know. I just wondered if you had any insights, if you knew how that worked.
Well, at the minute, long as it's, I think this about a lot of things. If it's in the rule, if you're playing within the rules, then you're good to go. When there's this much money at stake, and now it's a proper sport, and that people getting money out of winning races. Like, I think you've got to do the maximum, and you can't. It used to be like a gentleman's agreement almost, but then that's out the window when it gets to a certain stage and a certain pace. So I think that as long as you're not there is no ruling on it. So why wouldn't you'd have to be crazy not to? If you can, why wouldn't you?
Yeah, if you're in the same country, whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, in the same country, go there.
Should. Yeah, I think traditionally how it worked was that downhill races a lot of the time were like taped out that week, so there was no, even if you'd been there practicing on existing tracks, you wouldn't have. Do you know what I mean? Whereas I feel like since the era of the bike park, and this is a real era, this is a real thing for downhill, because certainly probably when I was the biggest downhill super fan, we weren't riding along motorway sections with video cameras with cable cams following. It was much more like that downhill that I kind of understand. In the Surrey Hills with 30 seconds downhills, but you know what I mean. It wasn't like this kind of like a 29-inch wheel flat out ride in a bike park that you can ride yourself.
And I guess now a lot of the tracks, like you say, they're there
100%
round, so you can go and you can put some laps in on them.
And it makes sense. It's business, isn't it? If you're going to hold a big event, then at the end of it, you have this thing that people are going to travel to do. Like, think how valuable it is for Fort William. You know,
dude, insane.
Like, you
massive.
can turn up, you can buy a lift ticket, and you can ride Fort William World Cup downhill track.
Yeah,
there's no other opportunity to do that in the UK, and it's massive. So, I think, I think it's made it way harder to actually like. It used to be more fair, didn't it? And the track would change, and it would develop as a race weekend went on. I don't know.
And like you said, I didn't really think about that whole. There wasn't a track there for a lot of them. They'd just tape it out, and it'd be like maybe they go off course a little bit, maybe they do that, and that way it's totally different. Yeah, unique to that event. It just got me thinking a little bit. Like,
no, absolutely, yeah.
So, surely some teams or riders are looking at that, going, "Fucking hell, they're all racing the BDS there this week." The World Cup's there in 2 weeks. It is a bit of a head start, let's be honest, unless they totally change the track, which they're not going to.
Hey, 100%. Do you know what I kind of think as well? Like, for me anyway, as a non-racer, non-World Cup racer, I turn up somewhere and I just feel like shit for a little while until I work out the ground. It sounds stupid. It can be... Do you know what I mean? When you turn up somewhere and you're just like, well, I literally have no idea. Nothing's coming easily. Nothing's like... It would make, for me, if I was racing, I would want to be there early, and I'd want to just ride tracks around, not necessarily the race track, but just get used to the dirt. When you go somewhere like, I don't know, Virgin, Utah, quite a lot different from the Surrey Hills, yeah.
So I guess, like you say, it's just a case of getting tires in the dirt and feeling it out and, getting acclimatised to it. Yeah, you're right. That's fair. Yeah, I don't know. It just got me thinking this weekend when I saw that there was a BDS there. I was just like, well, why isn't every downhill rider come over a few weeks early just to get a practice in?
You would, wouldn't you? I think
think so?
I think they're reshaping the course. The course is beat at the minute, and I think they're they're obviously going to have something new for the World Cup. But if it's 5-minute track and there's 30 seconds of new trail, it's not really like there's still an advantage to riding the rest of it, isn't there? It's funny when you think about track building on that hillside at Ben Nevis. You think about what that is compared to, like, that's really hard. That is really hard.
Difficult. Yeah, that's big days out.
Like, you've walked that track,
there,
right?
Like, yeah.
That's like a bog up top, huh?
Yeah.
So all of the top section, to any of our listeners that haven't been there, the top section looks like fast paced and like the track itself is like raised. Everything around it is like heathland. It looks, it looks pretty good, doesn't it? It's essentially rock and bog. Like you can't walk down it without getting ankle deep in a bog. It's not really like, it's quite like tough terrain, isn't it?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, like you say, from the TV, you don't get to see that side of it at all, do you? And like, they have raised the track to keep it sort of not from getting total bog.
So if you want to,
super rocky, and actually, like that dirt at the top is kind of like a shale. Yeah, it's kind of like really slippy, isn't it? Like loose. And
the whole thing's shipped up there, so they get it up in ton bags on. I don't know how they do it. Whether they do it on the
helicopter.
Yeah, whether they do it on the chopper or probably the lift, realistically. But they dump those ton bags of like surfacing, and it makes you think just logistically how hard that is. Like, like there's big braking bumps into a corner. It's not like just fill them in. Where do you get the material from to fill them in? You can't put this bog in the holes. You can't put heather in there. You can't put bog in there, and you can't put rock in there. And let me tell you, that's all that's up there. So you have to bring shit up there. So interesting.
Did you enjoy this clip? If so, please like and subscribe. The full episode is available by hitting one of the links on the screen right now, or type the Ride Companion into your favourite podcast app. We've even put links in the show description for you. Cheers!